Welcome back. Here's a statistic to consider as we get into the thick of high school sports season again. An estimated 300,000 sports-related traumatic brain injuries are reported in the U.S. each year, and most of those are concussions. Today, we welcome Doug Means and Chris Sharrock from KORT Physical Therapy with details on a program designed to help recognize those injuries in student athletes and make sure there's proper treatment. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, this is something that's really getting a lot of attention lately with the seriousness of recognizing these injuries and making sure they're addressed at the right time. And tell us a little bit about the need for an education program like this.
It is. It's a hot button topic right now. And what we at KORT have done is we have implemented impact testing, which is baseline testing, neurocognitive tests for athletes in Lexington. Baseline testing, what it does, impact tests your neurocognitive abilities. It measures your symptoms, it tests your reactionary time, and it's a great tool. It's almost like having an insurance policy for your athlete. Hopefully you never need it, but it's stored on a database, it's web-based, and you can always, if something does happen to your child, you have something to compare it to. So you have a baseline, you have something that you can go back and say, ooh, you know, my son or daughter sustained a head injury, what's normal for them? Well, we've got this baseline testing now that's available that we can at least have it, store it, and if something happens down the road, it's available. And what we do with that, we don't use it to diagnose concussions. We use it as a tool to give to the physician to allow them to make a decision about an athlete's return to play. So we give doctors tools to help them make a decision.
And as you were saying, that baseline is so vital because it can vary, you know, what impact an athlete may receive, or it gives you just that full picture of what they're experiencing or any loss of any function.
Correct. It's comprehensive. It measures your symptoms, your reactionary time, you know, so it's just all encompassing, and we store it and we keep it for future use in case you ever need it.
And now, now's the time really for teams, trainers, parents, to get involved and participate in this program. And tell us kind of how it works and how student athletes and their support system can get connected with it.
Yeah, well, really any athlete that participates in a sport is at risk for a concussion. So we obviously recommend it for any athlete that participates in a contact or collision sport. And it's very easy to get involved. All they'll have to do is call the clinic and ask to talk to me directly. And I'm in the Winchester Clinic. And then based on where they live, we'll arrange for them to be tested at a location close to their hometown. Now, we can test an athlete individually, or we can test them in groups, such as whole teams. Also, another thing to note, too, is that even if you haven't had baseline testing and you would have a concussion, we could test you at that point in time, right now, and we could compare that to normal values that the impact scoring system has accumulated to see basically if you're functioning up to that cognitive level that you need to be in order to go back to play safely.
And you mentioned that you're at the Winchester location. To contact you, you see the website, KORT.com, at the bottom of your screen where you can get the information on their locations. And have you guys seen good participation with this so far from area schools?
Parents love it. I mean, parents have taken advantage of it. Coaches love it. It's just another tool to have, you know, as a parent myself. You know, my son, who's 13, had 2 concussions, so it wasn't around at that point, so I wished it was.
Yeah, well, wonderful advice, and certainly something that athletes and their families should consider taking advantage of. You see again at the bottom of your screen, KORT.com, the website, and scheduling folks now through the rest of the season?
Yeah, we're scheduling now. You can call today. Our number is 859-744-4411. And another thing we just want to mention to everybody is that we want everybody to understand that a concussion is a brain injury, and that brain injuries are very serious, and that we want people to take those seriously and do the preventative steps to kind of keep their kids safe.
Well, again, wonderful advice. Thank you both so much for being here and sharing this with our viewers.
We
will be right back with the last check of your forecast.